So I have here some beautiful corn that I have, peeled the husks off and cleaned. And I have here some sheets of the heavy-duty foil. Now, I do want to use the heavy-duty foil because we're going to be putting it on the grill. Before we get started on that, let me give you a little bit of a hint of something to do. Now, I've had my grill on for a few minutes, so it's nice and hot. A hot grill is always easier to clean than a cold one. So when your grill is hot, I love this little tool for a grill, a grill grate, like a gas grill or charcoal, anything that has the grate, because it gets down in between the little rungs. So you can get these anywhere. I got this at Walmart. So you just, once it's hot, just take your brush and just kind of go over your grill. Now I've already done it once, but we'll do it again. And that will clean off any residue that you might have left over from the last time you grilled. You will also want to oil those grates, so that the safest way to do it is to get a wad of paper towels and some just neutral oil. I'm just using vegetable oil. Stand back, long-handled tongs, and then just lightly go over, if you can hang on to the paper towels, lightly go over your grill grates with a thin layer of oil. Now, this is the safe way to do it. I have to confess, there are times that I stand way back and I bring out my non-stick cooking spray, but that's not the safe way to do it. Another thing you always want to have handy when you're grilling is a water bottle in case you get the flare-ups. So while we prep our corn, I've already got a couple prepped. We're going to take some sheets of heavy-duty foil. The heavy-duty will, it's just is better for the grill. We're going to take I like to go ahead and add a little butter to mine. What I do is put a little butter down. You can put some salt and pepper on it too, if you want. You don't have to do that part, but it just flavors the corn a little bit. But if you've got somebody that doesn't like pepper, then you don't have to do that. Fold it up, and then we'll put it on the grill. The corn tastes delicious on the grill. I love it. Grilled. I could just make a meal on grilled vegetables. I'm telling you, it's delicious. Last one. My butter is nice and soft because it's hot. But I love it. If you hear the birds chirping in the background, I hope you enjoy, because we are outside. Now, my grill, and once you start grilling, you'll learn this. My grill's hot spot is right there. So I don't want to put the corn on my hot spot. So I'm just going to put the corn kind of over here. And I'm going to let it go for a few minutes. And then I will rotate it, and turn it so that it will cook evenly. Now, we're going to get started on our chicken. I already have some chicken marinated, but I want to show you what I did. In a plastic bag, I've got some boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Because I'm outside and I don't have a sink behind me, I'm going to put on a few little gloves here and my plastic board. I put this in to start marinating last night. So this has been marinating for, since about 7 o'clock last night, so a while. Any length of time, you want to do it at least an hour, but up to overnight is good. And I've just got my chicken breasts in there, and I'm going to lay them out on my board. Now, I am going to show you exactly the bottle of stuff that I use because it's delicious. If I were doing this inside, and you totally could do this on the skillet, in a skillet on your stovetop, I would just take the rest of this marinade and boil it for 3 to 5 minutes, and then you can reuse it. However, I'm not inside, and I don't have a pan out here, and I don't want to put my pan on my, on my grill. So I'm not going to do that. I just bought a second bottle. But if you're inside, you totally can. I made a mess, of course, always do. But this you find at your grocery stores. This is the Buffalo Wild Wings Caribbean Jerk dressing, and I use it as a marinade. And I am telling you, this stuff is delicious. Absolutely delicious. So this is what we marinated our chicken in overnight. I just put it in a baggie and then poured in a bottle of this, and I closed it up, put it in a container, and put it in the refrigerator. So this is our chicken. Now, I do want to pat off a little bit of that marinade in the beginning because I want the grill marks to be on the chicken, and I don't want the marinade to burn. But I will be brushing some more seasoning on it after it gets cooked. So I'm going to put my chicken, oh, do you hear that sizzle? We're going to put our chicken, I'm using boneless, skinless chicken breasts, but you could use anything you wanted to. Okay? Don't you fall down. All right, get that off because that's dirty. I'm going to take some paper toweling, and I'm going to pat that other side. Be careful. If you want to use your tongs, go ahead. I just want to get any excess marinade off. I'm going to shut my grill down for about 3 minutes, and then I'll show you what we'll do. So I've got my grill because this thing is hot. If I left this on high, my temperature thermometer goes all the way above 450 degrees, and I don't want it that hot. So I turned mine down to like medium, in between low and high. I don't have a setting that says medium, but I turned it on full blast to get it hot, and then I cut it back to medium. And we'll use this in just a few minutes. So if somebody will set me a timer for like 4 minutes-ish, I will know what to do. Now, well, let's get started. Let me make the dressing first here. Hang on just 1 minute. Let me get that off my board. It's quite challenging to do this outside with not having all of your stuff. We're going to make a jicama slaw. Now, a jicama, if you've never had one, looks like that. They eat a lot of this in the Caribbean, in the Mexican, and the Central America, Jamaican cooking uses quite a bit of the jicama because I need another plate here. Let me just do this. Put these on the thing. It's very crunchy, it's delicious, and it just is so refreshing. And a lot of, especially Jamaican food, is very spicy. This jerk chicken is spicy. So you need something cool to cleanse your palate. So we're going to do a jicama today. You want to peel it. Inside it looks kind of like a potato, sort of. But it's not a potato or even anything even remotely close to a potato. I'm going to see if this will peel. You could use a peeler, or you can do what I'm going to do, which is take a knife and just go down the side and peel it, much like you would like an orange if you're going to do your, get the segments out of your orange. It's very refreshing, and you eat it raw. I like them. I bet you've seen these in the grocery store, and you are thinking, what is that, and what do I do with it? Well, I'm going to show you one of the things you can do with it. If you eat low carb, this is a great little snack for you. And then turn it over. you do want to peel it. And then we'll cut it into a little bit of a more manageable size because this thing's huge. Okay, that looks good. Let me get my little scraper. I'm going to cut it in half because it's kind of big. I'm actually going to cut it into quarters, make it a little easier to work with. Now, if you don't have one of these little tools, which is a little tiny little mandolin, this is a Japanese one. They're quite inexpensive. I mean, like 10 bucks maybe. Comes with different blades that you can exchange and a guard to make little julienne slices. If you don't have one of those, let me show you what to do. You can use your knife. You see? And I'll show you what it makes. Come on, this thing's really kind of firm. My blade needs sharpening. Come on, you. But you see what you get? You get little fine strips. Tastes kind of, has almost a hint of an apple on there. I've got some shredded carrots. I just bought a bag of shredded carrots. I'm not a fan of the guards. I would rather use this and then throw away the last little bit or chop it by hand. Because I don't like the guards. But I want you to know that it's safer to use the guard. So we're going to get this, and this particular model, and you can buy mandolins all over the place. Any good kitchen store has them. And the OXO makes a good one, and you can use it and just change out the blades. I'm just going to keep shredding this up, clean up my mess a little bit. When I come back, I'll show you how to make the dressing. We'll check on the chicken, and we'll be right back in just a second. Alrighty, now to go with our slaw, we've got our jicama in there and our carrots. We also have a red pepper because I like the sweetness of it. If you don't have a red pepper, maybe you've got a yellow one or a green one even, you could add the green if you wanted. I really, really like red peppers. Just going to cut out the seeds and the membrane. Let me get my trash can out here a little bit. A little more accessible. Oh, I wish you could smell this. Somebody needs to invent smell-o-vision because I'm just telling you. Now, I do want my pepper to be thin. So I'm going to cut it into thin pieces to match the other. And this is quite long, so I'm actually going to cut my strips into smaller pieces to make it a little easier to eat. So just cut them, and then you can cut them like into thirds. Oh, red peppers smell so good. They taste so good. So sweet and juicy. I love to grill these too. If you have a couple of extra red peppers, throw them on your grill while you're cooking. I did flip the chicken over, I'll show you. And I twisted my corn. So let's check on the chicken. It's not for me. All right. Now, we just turned it over. Oh, smells so good. Look at that, how pretty. Mm-mm-mm. And I'm going to kind of rotate these a little bit because this is my hottest spot on my grill. So I want the thicker pieces back on the back. And I also turn the corn. We're going to let that go for just a minute, and then we're going to brush a little bit of that marinade. I poured some of it in a little bowl, and I've got my brush. So let me get this out of my way. Now let's make the dressing for this. I have just some plain rice vinegar. Now rice vinegar will come in two different ways. It'll come plain and it'll come seasoned. If you have seasoned, which I do use quite often, you will not need to add the next ingredient because seasoned rice vinegar already has sugar in it. This is just a little bit of a sugar substitute. I'm outside, I'm going to take a shortcut. I'm going to use pre-grated up ginger. If you wanted to buy a knob of fresh ginger, grate it, you go right ahead. I use that all the time. I also use this all the time. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, just a little bit, and a little bit of pepper, freshly ground. You know me, I love my fresh ground pepper. And the juice of a couple of lemons. Roll your lemons on your board. I'm also going to zest one of them because the zest has so much flavor. And this is going to be really, really cooling after you eat that Jamaican chicken that is so delicious and so full of flavor, but a little spicy. Just going to tell you, it is a little spicy. So we want to add a little bit of something to cool the palate with. And I have just some lemons. I'm going to cut them in half. I hear my chicken, so we better check on that real quick. I hear it. Yeah. Let's go ahead and brush this real fast with our just the jerk seasoning. A fresh batch, not the one we marinated with, because we don't want to cross-contaminate. That has raw chicken in it. So unless you're going to be inside and you boil that marinade for 3 minutes at a rolling boil, it's not safe to use. If you boil it for 3 minutes, and that's true for any marinade, if you bring it to a rolling boil for 3 whole minutes, then it is safe to use. All right, let's turn this over. Oh, so good. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Yum. Let that go for a couple more minutes while we juice our lemons. I love to eat outside. I love to be outside. I love to hear the animals, the birds are chirping. It's just so much fun. See the butterflies. You need to take the time to sit outside for a few minutes every day that you can. All right. When it's warm and pretty, I like to come outside in the mornings early, really early, and have my devotion, my time of prayer, and just listen to nature. I love it. Love it outside. And that's it. There's no oil in this. You could add a little bit if you wanted to, but I don't. I don't want to. All right. Then I had some tongs somewhere. Yeah, right beside me. Goodness. And you just want to mix this. Now, this is totally fine to make a day ahead of time. Let it marinate and get the seasonings together, the flavors together. As always, I make a mess, but you need to always taste for seasoning to see if you need to add anything to it. Get something. delicious. All right, let's check our chicken. Oh my goodness. Flip this over. Because remember well, wait a minute. Back up just a second. Let's brush this side with some extra marinade. Oh, this jerk seasoning mix. You can totally make your own. There are a ton of jerk recipes out there. But I'm telling you, they're not sponsoring this, but I'm telling you, that Buffalo Wild Wing Jamaican jerk chicken sauce is superb. I really don't know that you could beat that. So I'm going to flip that over. Ooh, my grill wasn't quite greased enough. I'm also going to flip the corn another time. I'm going to bring my corn that was on the back to the front and put the corn that was on the front in the back for more even heating. A little spicy on my throat. I'm going to clean up, keep an eye on that. When I come back, we're going to serve all this great food and we're going to eat all this great food. I'll be back in just a minute. Alrighty, now our food is done. All I did was put a little bit of our slaw on our platter, and I just picked a little herb garden over there, and I just picked some fresh thyme to put on that, just to kind of green it up, or you could use parsley or just to make it look pretty and actually add some flavor. And I want you to look at this corn. Oh, it is perfect. Look at that. You got just that little bit of char on there. That's because you rotate it. I cannot wait to eat this. So what I would do is just put a little bit of some of your little corn on the cob holders. And I most definitely would slather that one with a little bit more butter. You could add some Hotica cheese if you wanted to, or Parmesan cheese if you wanted to make like Mexican street corn. So good little Mexican crema with a little Parmesan or Hotica. And then our wonderful chicken. Look at this chicken, how good it looks. If you are at all unsure about chicken temperatures or meat temperatures, I strongly suggest you get an instant read thermometer. That way you can take your piece of meat and put your thermometer on the inside middle, and you know if your food is cooked, and this is perfect. So that's a Thermopin, that's my favorite, but they do make other kinds. I like the instant read as opposed to the little dial, but I got to get into this chicken. So let me get a fork. I didn't bring out a regular knife, so let me just do this. All right, you ready? Look at this. Oh my goodness. Look how juicy and tender. I would advise you to let any protein that you're cooking, put it and let it rest for like 5 minutes or so before you cut into it. The bigger the piece of meat, the longer that wait or rest time needs to be, because it lets the juices redistribute. And then you end up with a juicy cut of meat instead of a dry, flavorless. Let's just try it. I cannot tell you how good that is. Scrumptious. Absolutely scrumptious. I would suggest you don't really need it. because that's full of flavor, full of everything you need. But if you wanted to put some of this on the side, you could. I'm telling you, that is absolutely delicious. You have got to try this. It is so good. And it's so simple. Your family will love it. If they like spicy food, we do. We like spices around here. So we've got a quick and easy meal. I mean, you could put your chicken in before you left for your day. Put it in your marinade, let it sit in the refrigerator. When you come home, start to finish with this dinner is under 30 minutes. I'm telling you, this is something you could do any day of the week when you get home. If you've got a quick little gas grill, or if you've got charcoal, whatever you've got, get the charcoal going, give it a few minutes to get to ash instead of the flames. Couple little things, remember to keep your little water bottle handy, although I didn't need it. Sometimes if you're cooking something fattier, applies to anything, you could use that. So here is a delicious meal. We've got our Jamaican jerk chicken. Wonderful. Our delicious grilled corn. Look at the, I love those caramelized flavors on that. And that comes from rotating. If you didn't rotate it, you'd have one side completely burned. But when you rotate it, you get that even charring. And then our jicama slaw with a jicama, and we've got some carrot and red pepper, and I just made a dressing, quick dressing, sprinkled it with a little thyme. There you go, some fast and easy grilling recipes from my kitchen to yours, from Everyday Manna. Thank you for joining with me, and I will see you next time.